From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. Always something. Today, another one of those days. John Cohen, Ross Bjork have been summoned to Birmingham, so we're going to discuss that today and whatever else strikes us and what should be an entertaining and easy show this morning. A show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Go to lunch special. Go get a daiquiri, 2 or 3 daiquiris, the 44-ounce daiquiris at the Oxford Exxon. A lot of flavors, a lot of good stuff there. You get a clean convenience store. You got good gas prices and the mobile rewards out with the Speed Pass Plus. You save money in the process, so you can't go wrong there at Blue Sky and the Oxford Exxon. Next door at the Oxford Crystal, you get maple bourbon milkshakes and all that jazz. So those things out there, Highway 6 West, and you can come to the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900. Here's how it works. I've done it a lot lately. You call Corey Clark. You ask Corey. You tell Corey what you're looking for. Doesn't have to be a new vehicle. It might be previously owned. You're just looking in a certain price range. You're looking for a certain type of vehicle. You tell him what you're looking for. He sends you a quote. He does it however you want to do it. Email. I'm sure you could text, whatever. He'll do it within 15 minutes in business hours. It's quick. It's efficient. You get your information. It allows you to move further down the decision-making process. Allows him to move on to his next customer because there's none of that haggling and hassle. It's right to the bottom line. It's a much more efficient way to make a car purchase. So you get your quote, and like I said, you can shop it around, or you can let the people at Clark Ford do for you what they've done for me and so many others. That's take the hassle out of the everyday car buying experience. Great service. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. He'll prove it to you. Delivery options, whatever it takes, they'll get it done because they want to make you a part of the Clark Ford family. 662-257-1900. At the end of your deal, tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast. You can mention this podcast. You can mention any of our other family of podcasts, and you'll save $500 off the already great bottom line at Clark Ford in Amory. So I assume we're going to start with some NBA today. Is
NBA, right? Professional wrestling, soap operas, what we had for Thanksgiving. Because we actually didn't mention Thanksgiving yesterday. Yeah.
Harden went for 54 last night, but they still lost to the Wizards. There's a lot going on.
Durant had 49. He's had 93 in his last 2 games.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah. Boston came back and beat the Pelicans. I mean, there's a lot going on in the association. You want to just get to that later? We'll start with something else.
Isn't it kind of conceited to just call yourself the association? There's more associations. You're not the association.
It's true, but they're
the National Football League, which would have every right, does not go, we're the league.
They should.
They don't.
But they could.
They have reverence toward baseball as well, I guess.
I guess so. It's a good point. I don't know. I never really thought about it that way. But
it's kind of arrogant.
It is kind of arrogant, but when you have an association full of multi-millionaires who can,
you don't think there are other associations with multi-millionaires? I figure most associations have multi-millionaires.
Probably not full of people who pay to go see them work. I'm going to guess.
That's not really relevant, but okay.
Anyway,
I will start here quickly because I will forget once we get going on this in a minute. There was talk yesterday about the Sugar Bowl trophy being taken out of the Manning Center. It was on the message board. We chase rumors. That's half our job.
It's right in here right now. It's on the bookcase.
Yeah, I know. We're borrowing it for a couple set shots. It's still in the Manning Center somewhere. I don't know where it's located. It might be propping up a door. It might be in someone's office. I have no idea, but it's still
trophy
there.
Left the Manning Center over the weekend, but it wasn't that.
It was not the Sugar Bowl trophy.
That Music City Bowl trophy.
I was about to say, there's a lot of talk about vacated wins. At this point, I do not think that game is going to be vacated. The 2013 season is the one most in trouble of is it vacation? Is that correct?
Of being vacated.
Well, yeah, but is there another suffix on that or not?
I don't know that you would. Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, I don't know. Anyway, the 2013 is the season that's probably most in trouble because of Jeff Scott. I don't think the 15 season to that extent. I'm expecting probably some 15 vacated wins, but
and it's Jeff Scott. Why,
dude? There's so much stuff. I just think it's Jeff Scott.
Was he one of the ACT people?
He might have been an ACT guy. Yeah, he might have had something else going too. Dude, it all runs together. Like the people that thought the Sugar Bowl was part of it, it was all because of Laramie over something that wasn't even an allegation at the time, and it's like, well, how in the? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, we're about to get there.
Yeah, okay. That's a good lead-in, actually.
Yeah.
Because it shows you the insane situation here. So
it's almost like you've done this before.
Potentially. About 1,800 times. All right. Over the weekend, you had the skirmish, the kerfuffle, if you will, between Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
No. It was a freaking brawl.
Well, there's only 2 punches thrown.
Yeah, but they ran all over the field. It was a terrible look. It was a terrible look.
What does it take to be a brawl, though? Don't you need more punches to be a brawl? Just running all over the field is not a brawl.
I would call it a brawl.
Bedlam, maybe.
Bedlam.
Bedlam?
Okay, we'll meet in the middle and call it bedlam.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get bogged down on that. But anyway, it was an awful look.
At a time when, frankly, I was a little surprised by who they kicked out, who they didn't kick out, all that kind of stuff. But nonetheless.
Yeah, because they kicked out the wrong people.
It was kind of weird. Gave everybody a personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, whatever.
Personal foul and sportsmanlike conduct penalty on everyone.
Yeah, all 158, whatever it was.
And had you been like Luke Logan right there, you're like, whoa, what did I do?
Well, we did watch a kicker get kicked out of a game one time. Gary Wonderlick against Memphis. Major street
Have you
cred.
seen the replay where Luke Logan's like, I want to kick the damn ball.
Yeah, I'm just here.
I don't want to fight.
On a play that didn't count. It's the utmost Egg Bowl moment in history. So, anyway, okay. It's been brewing for a while. We know that. It was going to happen at some point during Thursday's game.
Yes.
At least on one side, it appears that there is not any toning down of this whatsoever from the new coach. So, last night, you want to stop me there before I go?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay.
This is that deal, and I'm be fast with this because I want to get to what we're getting to. Both sides, from a tweaking standpoint on social media and all of that, are equally guilty. Both sides have done scoreboard things that have been very petty. It appealed to the fan base, but it just poured gasoline on a burning fire. And new coaches came in because one got a better gig and the other one's completely unhireable because he's apparently got personal issues that just go forever. They're both gone, and you thought, well, maybe it'll cool off. Last year, it didn't overheat up, even when DK Metcalf did the fire hydrant thing.
It stayed pretty calm last year.
In large part because Dan Mullen was leaving.
Yeah.
Dan Mullen was checked out.
He was so disconnected that it was whatever.
Well, not only that, Dan Mullen could not afford for that to happen on that field last year because he knew he was 24 hours away from either Tennessee or Florida. And so he knew he was getting out. I'm sure, I know for a fact, people close to him said, hey, you just get through the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fitzgerald got hurt, all that stuff. But like you said, it's been building, and both sides have poured logs on the fire, except, go ahead.
Well, I was kind of even done with it, but just it appears that quickly Moorhead is going to continue some semblance of the burning charcoal, if you will, for this thing.
You can't be popular there unless you do it. Look at the chancellor or the president or whatever they call him, the head.
Mark Keenum
gets in the locker room and he talks like this. I tell everybody that this is the biggest game. I met with Coach in the summer. I met with him 2 weeks ago and made sure he understood the importance of this game. This is the game. Everything over there is about beating Ole Miss. Everything they do is about beating Ole Miss.
So we all saw it yesterday afternoon, the same day that they assessed Texas A&M a $50,000 fine for rushing the field and all the looks and all the stuff going on down there for LSU and the Aggies. This quote from Greg Sankey in the press release. He says, quote, "It remains disappointing to have seen the unnecessary actions during and after the Mississippi State at Ole Miss game on Thursday night. These actions are unacceptable, and my concern relates to the bigger issue of the repeated incidents before, during, and after games between these football programs. The incidents have become too common in this series. I will require both athletic directors to meet with me at the SEC office in the offseason to review past issues and develop a plan for the purpose of creating a healthier environment for this annual game. I'll let you set us up.
It's almost like Christmas came early for Ross Bjork.
The present's there. It's his choice whether to unwrap it.
You know, it's like the hitter that's in the batter's box against Chris Sale, and you cannot hit that fastball. Hell, you can't hit his slider. You don't recognize it out of his hand. You have struck out, and you have struck out, and you have struck out, and he's got you 0-2. And for whatever reason, he decides to throw a curveball. And the damn thing spins like a cement mixer. And you get a chance to hit a home run. Greg Sankey absolutely is hanging a curveball to Ross Bjork. I'm not convinced Ross is going to swing. In fact, I don't think he's going to. But it's a hanging curveball. Because the answer to this, the answer that would take his popularity from somewhere around 5% to somewhere around 95% is, you're right, Mr. Commissioner. It is unacceptable. What was the other word? Just unacceptable.
Unnecessary, unacceptable. Yeah.
You're right. You're right, Mr. Commissioner. It is unacceptable. It's. I'll go further.
Disappointing was the other one.
I'll go further than that. It's disappointing. It's intolerable. It's ridiculous. It's ugly. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's unprofessional. It is ugly. It is, pick your word, pick your adjective, Mr. Commissioner, and we agree. And we look forward to this meeting because, quite frankly, sir, this meeting is way overdue. Because, quite frankly, sir, it's time that they acknowledge the role that they played in this. Because this rivalry is ugly, not just because it's a rivalry and not just because the two schools are so closely connected and they compete over the same kids. This rivalry is ugly because the SEC and the NCAA granted immunity to multiple players, including one who admitted in a Committee on Infractions hearing that he got paid by Mississippi State. Our program took a 2-year bowl ban over something that we frankly don't believe we did. And they did. And then I'd go further. I'd say if you actually believe, what's the tight end's name?
Rod Gray.
Yeah, if you believe.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. If you believe that an assistant coach at a junior college has $10,000 just laying around to hand to a linebacker in Mississippi, you're out of your mind. I'd let it go. I know I'd get fined. I know I'd get reprimanded. I know it would cause absolute chaos inside athletic circles. It'd be true. And it'd be the first time that people felt like you'd stood up for yourself. Be the first time that people felt like you stood up for yourself publicly. Because I'm going to be honest, this whole we fought behind closed doors. You probably did. If a tree falls in a forest and no one sees it fall, did it really fall? They want you to fight back.
It's the main perception problem right now, and this comes from message border. This comes from completely normal, educated, smart fans. This comes from all segments that typically can't agree on anything, including what color football uniforms Ole Miss should wear that day. They all agree on this. They feel like that the administration, for whatever reason, is fighting for everyone but them. The constituents that support the program, the people that are going to be here after everybody else is gone, and those type of people. They think that, and I understand why they think that. They think that at the end of the day, it's about making sure that it's placated to the NCAA and the SEC and everyone else other than them who is funding the program. I get the SEC Network cuts a check, but you know what I mean. And, again, as you said, because publicly – they don't have any reason not to believe that.
Ole Miss people feel like the NCAA screwed them.
Yes.
I'd use a different word, but
it's family enough.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And further, Ole Miss people are beginning to think that what happened wasn't it was basically consensual. That they asked you to turn over and you did. that you didn't fight back. It's perception. And frankly, it's the perception that's going to get people fired in that building if they're not careful. It's the perception that's going to get people to the point that the public confidence is lost to the point that there's no money. Because I'm getting the emails and calls and texts from people who are saying, I'm not renewing my season tickets. If I'm getting them, I know you're getting them.
A lot.
And I'm getting them.
A lot of CGA people. A lot of not just, hey, I got 2 seats over in Section A.
Yeah, I'm talking
real tickets.
I'm talking to people who have real tickets who swing big bats.
Yeah.
Maybe not the biggest of the bats.
But big enough.
But, hey, fellas, the cleanup hitter only comes around once in the lineup every 9 hitter. The number 6 hitter matters, too. If the number 7 hitter strikes out every single time, you feel that presence in the lineup, to use the baseball analogy a little further.
Sankey just comes across so freaking soft. It's just this PR corporate crap of, hey, it's just you guys that can't get along. I don't know why. Well, beats me as he throws his hands up and walks off. I mean, come on. Give me a freaking break.
I like Ross Bjork. I've said this a lot. I do not understand the decision to not fight back here. I know what they're saying. I disagree with it. At some point, you've got to work for the people that you work for. At some point, you have to say out loud, because if listen, if you did roll over, it's time to kind of say, hey, we rolled over, and here's why we rolled over.
Just say something.
Because there's been a lot of promises about one day we'll tell our side of the story. I think people are waiting to hear their side of the story, and it can't be, well, we did it behind closed doors. No, I think they want to know now that it's out in the open. What did you do? The appeal's over. Everything's done. The bowl ban is done. I mean, I know everybody's fighting over, whether the NCAA is going to try to take a Sugar Bowl trophy away from you or not. I mean, at some point you have to fight back. If your kid goes to school getting bullied every single day, there does come a point where you have to say to your kid, you're going to have to hit back. You got to hit back. You got to fight for yourself.
I think Ross would say that his interview with us was them telling their story. I think that's all they're going. I think that's as far as that's going from that realm.
And I would think, my guess is the fans would say that's insufficient.
It's the impasse that we're at.
Greg Sankey just said, hey, y'all got to come talk about this. I'm going to scold everybody. And even if you say what I just said in closed doors, that's not enough. They want to see you fight back publicly. It's like today, Matt Luke's going to have a press conference, and they want to hear that he has a plan that goes beyond, we just got to work hard. We just got to work hard. That's platitudinal, and it doesn't work.
Platitudes work when you're winning. Everybody's happy.
When you're winning, everything works.
Yeah.
But when you're losing, and you're losing the way they lost, and you've pointed this out so many times, and you're right, Hugh Freeze had one big season. And that one big season, and it was just one big season, because the other one was a choke job at the end that they happened to placate it a little bit by beating Mississippi State. But they had the one big season, and in that big season they lost games. But anyway, the one big season where they went to a Sugar Bowl and won it. And that has created a new standard.
The curve has changed.
And so last year, Ole Miss went 6-6, and then they went 5-7. And this season that just completed, they were not a good football team. I wrote this on Thursday night, and it's the truth. They did not pass the eye test. And they're going into a season now in 2019 where, quite frankly, 6-6 is going to be a hard pull.
Well, yeah, it's not just, everybody, it's not just 5-7. I mean, somebody pointed this out on the board yesterday. It's a good point. It was how they looked, and B, it's who they beat from a competition standpoint, because when you break down the schedule, Kent State has gone 2-10.
Yes.
Southern Illinois has won 2 games as an FCS team.
They're 2-9.
The best record they beat was ULM at 6-6.
Yes.
And whatever the other one I'm forgetting.
They beat a 2-10 Arkansas team.
Yeah, so 3 teams that went 2-10.
And they beat a Texas Tech team that fired its coach.
And went 5-7?
5-7.
Okay.
And that's the deal. So people look at that and go, and going into next season, it's going to be hard. Because one of the things I think you're going to hear today, and it's fact. It's not spin. It's going to be a very young team next year. And so people look at it and go, how did we get here? Well, we know how we got here. You got here because NCAA sanctions are designed to be punitive, and they were. It was a process that dragged on for 6 years, including a period in February of 2016 until whenever, when the SEC and the NCAA, the NCAA quit cooperating with Ole Miss. And the SEC apparently signed off on immunity interviews. I'll say what I've said so many times. I tweeted it. Mike Slive would never have allowed it to get here. Mike Slive would never have allowed it to get here. Mike Slive would have called people into his office back in the spring of 2013, and he would have looked Hugh Freeze in the eye, and he would have said, hand me your effing Twitter. And get Barney Farrar either off the road
or on your staff
or on the field today. Because I'm hearing this enough to know we have a problem. Fix it. And he would have absolutely never allowed anyone at Mississippi State to do immunity interviews against another SEC institution.
Shows you from a business standpoint just how strong the SEC is, that it's maintained all this with Greg Sankey replacing Mike Slive.
Yes, because he's weak.
Yeah.
Slive would never have allowed it to get to this point.
No.
Never happened.
He cleaned it up and everything was in-house.
That cat, little dude.
Yeah, little dude.
Carried a big stick. And whatever other analogy you want to use.
He ran college football. He and Jimmy.
Yeah.
With all due respect to Tom, he and Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Don't leave Tom out. I'll go across this table right now. No, he did. I mean, Jimmy Sexton ran the business end of it, and Mike Slive ran a tight ship.
Yeah.
He did. He controlled things. And I know we're going to a break. I don't believe that from a PR standpoint, Ole Miss can say nothing in retaliation to this and survive it.
Continue in 1 second. As we do that, I'll tell you about MasterCuts, because they want to keep your home looking up to par this holiday season. They provide anything from lighting and garland to inflatable characters. Whatever your vision may be, MasterCuts will work with you to design a custom display unique to your home. And the best part is all the decorations you pay for, you'll own them. MasterCuts will keep and store your decorations till they're ready to go up next year, or give them to you to keep. The option is yours. So chart a tradition with your family today. Give MasterCuts a call for a free quote at 662-607-7773.
We'd like to welcome our newest partner, Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, to the podcast. Guests will join our family of podcasts on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart specialize in personal injury law and real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you call Patterson and Earhart, you speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who will handle your case, not some paralegal at a faceless corporate firm. Patterson and Earhart, if they can't help you, they'll refer you to someone who can. John Calvin Patterson and Wes Earhart are Ole Miss guys. They're local guys, and when you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. So whether you've been injured in a car wreck or have other legal issues, give them a call, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, P-E, that's P as in Paul, E as in Edward, laws.com. Your initial consultation is free. We're also brought to you by Dead Soxy. The limited edition Rebel colored socks are still available. There's only 100 of each style available, so you need to get on those quick. If you've been on the fence, this is a great place to start with the brand. These have an introductory price point at only $20 before the Rebel Grove discount. After the discount, they're just $15 a pair. This is the exact sock that they make for their custom clients. So if you're interested in the custom socks, try a pair of the Rebel socks to experience the difference a quality sock makes. The powder blue colored socks can be a challenge to find, but not at Dead Soxy. They've got the styles and the colors to appease any Ole Miss fan. These make the perfect gift for the holidays. Your stocking stuffer solution has arrived. So go to deadsoxy.com/rebels or find them on the bottom of the page under the styles heading. You still get the 25% discount by entering Rebel Grove at checkout. My post-game columns and this podcast also sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is based in Madison, Mississippi, but it represents clients in 24 states, has advisors in 3 states. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. Cookie-cutter financial planners put you in a box. It's not what Pinnacle Trust does. I've been there. I've seen what they do. They get all of your information, all of your finances, whatever debt you may have. They look at your retirement plans, what you want to do, what your dreams are, what your goals are, and then they come up with a comprehensive, specific plan that's made just for you. It's peace of mind is what it is. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. Pintrust.com. That's PINN Trust.com.
So, yeah, that's that. I kind of forgot we were going after the break now, but it's okay.
It's all right. Do you agree with my premise that you have to fight back here?
Yeah, you got to. I mean, it's not just here; it's just in general. Frankly, it's this.
But this is the opportunity. This is the litmus test.
Because Sankey's not going to take any fault in this whatsoever.
No,
none.
No. So you have to.
It was within our blah blah blah. Hey, I recused myself. I was on the committee, and hey, it involved a member institution, so I backed off. I had
Mike
no
Slob
say
would have
in any
picked
of
up
this.
that phone and called that cat at Xavier and
Greg
said,
Christopher.
Hey, Greg.
Here's what we're going to do.
So here's the deal. Let me tell you the score. And at the end of that conversation, that investigation would have ended with the first NOA. I firmly believe that. I think people at Ole Miss would disagree with that, and that's okay. But if they disagree with it, it's probably best that they start. It doesn't matter what I think, but it does matter what the people think. And you're in the people business. Because the truth is, here's the truth. And this applies to Matt Luke. This applies to Ross Bjork. This applies to everybody over there. You're not winning 8 games next year. One of the questions in my mailbag, and it's a good one, how do you judge success next season? Because if it's just wins and losses, they're wasting time. It's how you look. It's how you play. It's what it feels like.
That's so subjective.
And that's weird.
You're right, but it's so subjective.
So you're going to have this weird.
It's got to look like 12. It's got to look like 13 a little bit. It's got to look like that. You got to see what the recruits that you have brought to campus are working. You got to see improvement in the Keydron Smiths of the world and the Jacquez Jones of the world and the Jonathan Hesses of the world and the Cavante Ruggs of the world and all those dudes. And I'm not just naming defensive players. I need guys getting better on offense too. I mean, it's all that. It's everything that you see when you look at a program and go, hey, you know, we talked about this with Jimbo earlier with A&M earlier in the season. You go,
I saw it.
You got us today, but it's going to be all right. We're coming. You go to the Grove and you lost the game, but you go, all right, we're getting better. That was okay. Next time those son of a guns come in 2 years, we got them. I feel good about it.
I said it middle of the year, and some people pushed back, and I got it because Jimbo's kind of greasy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fair.
And I said, they're getting better. And people were like, oh, no. I said, no, they're gonna be hell to pay in a couple of years.
He has a crap quarterback, and he's doing enough to be okay.
Yeah, and I said they're getting better. And I remember when they played Ole Miss, and they just kind of kept coming at Ole Miss. They just kind of kept resilient a little bit. And, you know, they lost to Auburn. They should have won. God, that probably saved Gus Malzahn at least for a minute or two. We'll probably get into that at some point.
Yeah, I'll go there in a minute.
They beat up on a good UAB team. Just beat them up. And then played LSU toe-to-toe the other night. Obviously won in 7 overtimes, but you could see it getting better. And I think it's going to take something like that, where late in the year when Ole Miss plays one of these good teams on the second half of the schedule, it's just toe-to-toe. It's a damn Donnybrook is what it is.
Yeah, you
and maybe
beat Auburn
lose
or
it.
you beat LSU or you look like whatever in those games.
Maybe you lose to LSU, but, boy, you play LSU where when they walk off the field, they're like, whoa, that's a little more than what we bargained for. And where the fans see fight. And my point is it's going to be very hard to sell that. Now, you can sell it, but it's going to be a little bit like Charlie Brown and that Christmas tree where you got to take that tree and you got to love it up. And by the end, everybody's dancing around it. You know what I'm talking about? You've got to make the damn thing feel right.
A lot of work to do between now and then. You got to hit on some of these recruits. Like I said, kids have got to get better. I mean, we're not getting off into football minutia today, but I did point out the stat yesterday. You can read full snap counts, full PFF grades on the site at rebelgrove.com. Still take advantage of that cyber deal. Still going 99 cyber is the code for $99 free in the fan shop with a annual subscription. If you're a monthly sub, upgrading to annual, or if you've just been on the fence and just now jumping into annual. But either way, even if Alex Givens returns next year, Ole Miss loses 2,672 offensive line snaps next season from Sean Rawlings, Jordan Sims, Greg Little, and Javon Patterson. Javon Patterson played more snaps than anyone else on the team this year, offensively. Might have played more, period. Might have played more than Cedric Woods. That's a ton. There's no clear answers there. There's work to do. That's why it was a thread on the message board that, frankly, stayed civil, but had a lot of conversation yesterday about what the start should look like. That start could be anything. We talked about this yesterday. I'm not getting back into it, but there's things here. I mean, it's more than just, hey, let's go grab a couple coordinators and we're rocking. So Mike McIntyre does have interest. That was on the board a couple days ago. We'll see where that goes. Yeah, it's all running together. Whatever.
I understand.
He got a good buyout at Colorado. He can definitely do it. We'll see.
My point on the other, and I know we're jumping around.
No,
forgive us. My point on the other is you can start the process of being able to sell that easier if people feel like you're fighting for them. Someone told me, hey, we got to get all in this together. Not referring to me, not referring to media, but referring to fans. Well, there's a way to do that.
And the fans can't do that. That's not a fan decision. That's an admin decision. It's a coach decision.
I hate absolutes. You're losing the fans. If you want to get them back, you have to be proactive.
That's not an absolute. It's fine.
You have to be proactive. They're not going to come back to you just because. Well, they will once you win. But that's my point. You're probably not winning next year.
Or at least to the point for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I told you best case scenario next year, absolute best case scenario,
7-5,
I'd go 6-6.
Fair enough. You said absolute best case, so I go, okay, they still won somewhere.
Yeah.
And win all the toss-ups.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And frankly, we're giving.
And I'm putting anything in a toss-up that's 35 to 65%.
Right. So you'd go 7, I'd go 6. It's basically the same number.
Yeah, the two gimmies, Cal, Memphis, Vandy, Arkansas, and still won.
Yeah.
That's 7.
Yeah. I look at it and go 2 gimmies, Memphis, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Cal. So we're on the same boat.
Yeah.
I have a hard time doing the Mississippi State thing after what I saw on Thursday night. Hard for me to go there right now. And who knows what Auburn will be. But
Sankey did say no suspensions for either team, by the way, in that press release as well. I forgot to read that part. But
frankly, Ole Miss caught a break there.
Because Corral could have been suspended for a game.
Yeah. He should have been ejected.
Yeah, they added to that actually 2 players were ejected who should not have been ejected, and then they did not eject 4 people who should have been ejected was the way that they phrased it. So, he said the only thing they got right from an ejection standpoint was Willie Gay because he had already had an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and then when the whole team got him, he got his second. So,
yeah, God forbid they use replay at the time and get it right.
I mean, how dumb of a deal is that? Because I don't know what Willie Gay did or did not do on the field, but if one of your best players is trying to be careful and not get another unsportsmanlike conduct, and he gets kicked out of a close game because you just gave the whole freaking team one, like, what are you doing?
I thought it was a cop-out. I thought it was poor. Stop. Take 10 minutes. What's the difference? Tell the 2 sidelines, get your ass to the sidelines, and then take a few minutes to figure it out, and then kick out who deserved to be kicked out. And frankly, that included Matt Corral.
You mentioned it. We'll go here right now because it's of interest. I mean, anything in this division is affecting Ole Miss for sure. A division that already includes Nick and Jimbo. What's going on at Auburn? Because, I mean, I'm hoping for chaos here because I sat here and told everybody that would listen that Alan Green spoke too soon, made a very rookie mistake as an athletic director, and that Gus Malzahn was not completely safe no matter what Alan Green said that day. And if nothing else, I feel vindicated on that one. But
got that one right.
I've seen this time or two, but is this actually something that's getting done? I read Jay Tate's thing. It was very, very good. You can go to auburnsports.com and read that this morning.
To be Jay Tate today, huh?
Oh, man, just rolling. But point being, how real is this? Because what's happened, just kind of how to give everybody a little bit of what's up here, is there are a lot of power players that just want Gus gone, period. However, they've got to do that. So their first mode was, hey, let's basically overtake everybody. Let's kick out Stephen Leath, the president. Let's just fire in brimstone, and Allen's probably safe because we think we can control him and everybody else is out.
Let's orchestrate a coup.
Number two, well, okay, who's a big name? Let's find a big name and say they're interested. Let's say we can afford the buyout. Let's put pressure on everybody because Gus has no approval rating anyway because Gus is a robot that never endeared himself to anyone in this football program. Well, Bob Stoops, the name that starts getting rumored yesterday. Stoops comes out very, very strongly saying he had no interest, but whatever. I never believe football coaches, so that's not.
Nick Saban's not going to be the next coach in Alabama.
I'm not worried about that. And then now C, as they move forward, is essentially just we're going to put so much freaking pressure on everyone and hate Gus to the point that he actually negotiates his own way out of this thing because everyone hates him. It's kind of where we are right now.
And I don't think
1 year, 365 days from a 7-year, $49 million contract
with $32 million
that includes
guaranteed.
a $32 million buyout where it's 16 within 30 days and then another 16 over the course of the next 4 years.
See, why is it so hard to make buyout language public?
Because if there's one you wanted to hide, baby, that'd be the one. If I'm Alan Green, I'm going, hey, is there any way we got a foundation here for this one? I mean, I need to put this behind a lock and
I was at Ole Miss for a minute. They're pretty good at hiding stuff. Let's hide this.
Well, I think, in some ways, I think they did it on purpose. They wanted the buyout out because it's like, hey, we got our guy at the time because they're all fire and brimstone over beating Alabama. And
yeah, that's why you don't overreact to one win and you don't overreact to one loss.
Jeez.
It's one game.
I mean, just
Auburn's the poster child for don't overreact.
Well, look, Auburn is, they're a family. They're a very dysfunctional family. I mean, Auburn is bat crazy.
Yeah,
they really are.
They're bat crap crazy.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
I mean, they win some. Don't get me wrong, but they're nuts.
You know how A&M's a cult?
A&M's cult, yeah.
Auburn's a cult too. It's just a different kind of cult. It's a little more lovable. It's a little sillier. And when you go to the Auburn,
a little more presentable with a family reunion.
Well, when you go to the Auburn cult meeting, there's a little different personalities there. You go to the A&M cult meeting and everybody looks the same and acts the same. At the Auburn cult meeting, they got a Cousin Eddie. They're crazy.
You could be entertained by it.
Well, you will be entertained, and there are some nice people in the cult. But Auburn has an identity crisis and has for the longest time. Auburn believes that it is an elite national power, and on occasion it has been.
It can get there.
Auburn believes it should win big, and it has won 3 Heisman trophies. It's won national championships. It's played for the national title recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bo Jackson. It's Cam Newton. Auburn can be a big player. But it's very, very hard for Auburn to be a big player annually, and that's what they expect.
And you got Nick over there.
And now you got Nick over there, and this has been going on for 11 years.
And they're tired of it.
Well, they're exhausted of it. And they look over, and Kirby is running Alabama East, and that's their other big rival, and not just on the field, but on the recruiting trail. And unlike the Auburn cult, the Alabama machine and the Georgia machine are absolutely right now just performing at high levels.
Mm-hmm.
The Alabama machine is the corporate deal where, they have the sign up that says we haven't had an accident and whatever. They're like, we hadn't had an accident in like 1,300 days and we're just spitting cars out or whatever it is that we're making. Widgets. We're making the best widgets in the world. And these widgets, man, holy cow, look at our widgets. And the widgets just keep getting better. Well, they don't have to go out and recruit people to come make widgets. The best widget makers in the world want to come there and put that on their resume that they built the widgets at Alabama. They've got it rolling, and Auburn can't match it, and there's this anger. And it's built up, and it's built up, and it's built up, and they see themselves as the only one way to do this, and that's go get a big-name coach and fight fire with fire. And quite frankly, it's not the worst plan. Because if you bring Bob Stoops to Auburn and you introduce Auburn coach Bob Stoops, it is a game changer. In fairness to Jimmy Rain and the people at Auburn, that does make you relevant that day. Might make you insane. But it's like I say when people go, well, the Cubs can't afford Bryce Harper. My answer is, it's not my money. I don't care if the Ricketts lose some money. I want to win games. If you're an Auburn season ticket holder on the fence about whether to renew or not, are you really pissed off that Jimmy Rain's paying Gus Malzahn to go away? Even a little bit? Is that changing the taste of your eggnog?
You're going to slap him on the back.
And you hear Bob Stoops is coming to town? You're renewing. You wanted a bigger donation? I'm in. That's just the way. Is it insane? Of course. College football is insane, boys and girls.
Yeah, the insanity is what makes it fun.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe I'm sitting here defending Auburn. As Jay said yesterday, it's just Auburn being Auburn. And it is. And maybe it's because I covered them and I've been around it. People are like, are you – like Gabe DeArmond called me yesterday. He goes, can you believe that? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I can believe it.
Okay, so what's going to happen?
I don't know.
Where are we in this
Flip
right now?
Flip a coin.
Really?
Yeah.
Gus is out in the next 2 years,
if
though.
Bob Stoops – oh, hell yeah. He's gone next year. But if Bob – I know what Bob Stoops says publicly. If Bob Stoops picks up the phone today or through his attorney, agents, whatever, and says, I want it, it's done.
Well, yeah.
So if Gus stays, it tells you that Stoops and whoever else they wanted said
Are they just going to move on to another guy? I mean, there's only so many of those guys.
They wanted Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
And they waited too long. And that's where a lot of this anger is. A lot of this anger is latent anger. They wanted Jimbo. And they could have
hired James Franklin. That'd be fun.
And they could have had Jimbo. Pretty good.
That'd be fun.
Horrible human being. Great football coach.
Yeah, Auburn, I think they're so strung out by Alabama, they're not really worried about human being right now.
Well, you're not paid to be nice.
Yeah, and Gus just has done such a bad job of managing his persona over there. You got to be careful. You can't go all the way the other way. I'm not saying that, but there is some sort of middle ground of, hey, just be human, dude. Act like something's all right, whatever. I mean, he just robot, chalkboard, chalkboard.
People get to know you.
Yeah, no, he's just – so when it does kind of hit if you're winning, cool, whatever. But when you're not – There's no capital. There's nothing. Nobody cares about you. Nobody's endeared to you whatsoever. It's just over.
Even Nick Saban lets people get to know him a little here and there. They did the thing last weekend on the college game day with Walt, the Down syndrome man who goes there every Thursday and passes out predictions. And Nick let him film him interacting with Walt and being a very stiff human.
Selective but really good TV spots and different things to keep some image out there that he's human. Like he's done
the girl, the Regions Bank thing with the girl.
That he's done. He did David Faraday on the Golf Channel and was fantastic for an hour.
Yeah.
Where he let Faraday come to his lake house and they talked golf and football and life and the whole deal. And he's done some stuff. He's figured out a decent middle ground there.
And Gus is not a people person at all, and he doesn't like.
He's uncomfortable around.
He's very uncomfortable, and it doesn't work. It only works if you win really, 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 really big, and that's hard to do at Auburn because Auburn's not. When you rank the SEC programs, Auburn's not a top 4 program, and it's never going to be. It's 5th, 6th, but it's not. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Had a friend call me yesterday. They were driving around, said traffic's starting to lighten up in Oxford a little bit. The kids are soon getting out of here. We're only a few days away from final exams. So it's a good time to visit Oxford. You see a full calendar of events at visitoxfordms.com/events. A whole lot going on. Just enjoy the square on this holiday season with all the lights and all the decorations. We call something else Rockwellian last week. We'll choose this week. It was Jeffrey's dad's backside. But nonetheless, Oxford MS, visit oxfordms.com. A lot going on, including Milk and Cookies with Santa today, 3:30 to 6:30 at St. John's Catholic Church. The Oxford Community Market, 3 o'clock to 6:30 today at the Armory Pavilion. Jim Weatherly and Jeff Robertson are signing Midnight Train today at 4 p.m. at Off Square Books, and much, much more. So you can see the full calendar of events at visitoxfordms.com/events. The podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar and Oxford. Go in, get your flu shot now. Take care of yourself. I think Neil's coming down with something currently as we're talking. So G&M, they accept all major insurance providers. It's free if not, it's $25, and let them handle all your pharmacy needs because they deliver local in the Oxford area. That's G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar.
Podcast also brought to you by the Westin Jackson. Join the Westin Jackson for their inaugural event. It's the Festival of Trees. It's a community-wide event that the Westin Jackson is partnering with Eventful, Visit Jackson, Friends of Children's Hospital, and many others to create a one-of-a-kind, all-month-long holiday event comprised of elaborately decorated Christmas trees lining the Westin Jackson halls, a holiday charity gala, sugar plum fairy teas, and brunch with Santa. This annual event is sure to delight kids of all ages and warm the Christmas spirit in all who attend. Purchase your tickets today at jacksonfestivaloftrees.com. Podcast also brought to you in part by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. So you know how this works. I'm going to skip some of the stuff to get right down to it. How this works is you call John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. And what you do is you give John some parameters. You want to go to Rome. You want to go to Disney World. You want to go to Yosemite. You want to go to Napa. You want to go to Scotland, Ireland, to do that golf trip that you've always talked about doing. Call John. Give him some parameters. Here's how many days I'm looking to go. Here's my budget. What could you do? He'll give you options, and he'll give you options that you would not have found on your own. I've talked to people who've done it. It's how it works. You get options that you would not have found on your own searching the internet. Even if you're the best Googler in the world, he's going to come up with stuff that you would not come up with. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. The podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan is the place to go. Just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi, Grenada Nissan has a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Phenomenal service. I've done business with Grenada Nissan for 11 years now. They're fantastic people. The Grasses, Gene and Sandy, they're great. They'll take great care of you. It's a very laid-back car buying experience. Like I said, their service department's terrific. Get you in and out quickly. Very efficient. They take care of you. They treat you like family at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
It's got a chance to be a really silly season. I mean, just one of those nutty, stupid carousel kind of deals where
we got screwed when USC kept Clay Helton.
Oh, that would have. That was the ignition switch.
Yeah, the clowns were going to go off on that one. We were going to get
because we get maybe Franklin, we get all this stuff, and
maybe we're going to get Franklin.
Get Franklin.
Yeah, he was going to USC.
Moorhead maybe to Penn State.
Could have happened.
Merry-go-round.
Franklin could go to Auburn. Does James Franklin make it worth $30 million? Not your $30 million, and it's not tax money $30 million. It's Jimmy Rain and some people's $30 million. That's their question. Is it worth for James?
Jimmy
Franklin?
Rain not worried about $30 million.
Well, he's not.
Everybody's worried about $30 million.
I mean, everybody's worried about $30 million, but now he'll
be all right.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got.
He can still get his bottle of wine he needs tomorrow night.
Yeah, if you got $800 million sitting around and someone says, can you give up 20? It's a big chunk of money.
It better be important.
But that's the question. For Bob Stoops, I don't think it. For Bob Stoops, I know they go, here, take it.
$20 million.
Let's get Stoops.
Yeah, I'll pay him.
Yeah, he'll come out to my lake house and
We'll have a big time.
I'll open one of my fancy bottles.
Yeah.
And we'll sit around and talk about Yellowwood. I'd probably give him wood.
Touche.
But does James Franklin do that?
He's a good coach.
Yeah.
But
he ain't Bob Stoops.
No, and he's nowhere near as palatable.
Bob Stoops won really big in Oklahoma.
Auburn is getting to that nut job phase because of Alabama.
Yeah, sure.
But Auburn is still Auburn. They got a lot of Nebraska in them. We still kind of want to win a certain way. We want a certain guy for our coach.
But they're getting away from that.
I said Alabama's causing that switch.
Yeah.
But that deep down, that's still there. It's down here in the heartstrings.
That's part of the cult. That's part of the cult.
That's why, no matter what the records are, if you put James Franklin and Bob Stoops next to each other, they're taking Bob Stoops 9 days out of 10 because they sleep a little better at night when they do it.
Sure. But Bob Stoops signed off on a guy that was on video knocking a girl out at a Norman bar.
You were correct.
Bob Stoops about
he's
women.
not a cherub. He's not a choir boy here.
Let's not put him up for Citizen of the Year right now.
But from a overall reputation, he's nowhere near James Franklin.
No, it's true.
Franklin's in that urban group.
So you guys raped a girl. Erase the phones.
I mean, seriously.
I know.
I don't think he's worth it.
Franklin?
Yeah, I don't. He's a really good coach. I don't think he's worth it.
We always love to do schedules. I'm doing a schedule here.
Of Auburn for 19. Why?
Because I want to see how their schedule starts.
They're probably in one of those little kickoff game things. Ole Miss has got one of those two out of the next 3 years, by the way. Neutral site deals.
Yeah, I'm in favor of them, generally.
Yeah, it's fine.
Auburn 2019. They open in Dallas.
Who are they playing?
Oregon.
Don't know. Sure. A Justin Herbert-less Oregon team.
You're going to laugh at me here. The next week's going to be a hard game. Tulane at home. Frista's done a good job.
Come on, though. Not losing.
Play a Kent State team that took Ole Miss to the fourth quarter.
Went 2-10 in the MAC.
All right, seriously, here we go. At Texas A&M.
Okay. That's an L.
Mississippi State at home.
I need to see State. They lose a house. So let's see.
At Florida.
That's an L.
At Arkansas, it's W.
That's a win.
At LSU.
That's probably an L.
Home against Ole Miss. It's a win.
Yeah.
Home against Georgia.
That's an L.
Home against Sanford.
That's a win.
Home against Alabama.
That's an L. That's 7-5. And that's giving them Oregon.
Yeah, I'm not ready to give them Oregon.
That's giving them Ole Miss, Oregon, and technically State, potentially. We didn't call that game either way. That's 5 losses without Mississippi State. Right?
Yeah. Alabama's a loss. Georgia's a loss. LSU's a loss. Florida's a loss.
And
A&M's a loss.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over.
5 without State or Oregon.
Cue the circus music.
So do it now.
I agree.
Do it now. If you're doing it next year, do it now. If you know you're firing a guy in 365 days, fire him 365 days early. That's Jeremy Foley's deal, and I believe in it 100%.
I do too.
I mean, gets everything moving in a different direction. It does.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Auburn's fun to watch. I'm glad I'm not over there, not having to deal with it every day. There's one way I would like to deal with it, but the other ways I would not like to deal with it as much.
From a business standpoint, I'm in.
Can we get this thing to last another month? Something like that. Hey, Bob, can you take it and then not take it 6 times or something? Can we figure this out? Oh, man.
We're taping a Greatest Pod in the South tomorrow.
Bless you.
You'll want to hear it.
Because Jay gets really stressed and strung out.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in this weird mental state.
And Gabe and I are both tweaking him. By the way, I'm told on Kelly Bryant that, speaking of Missouri and Auburn, that it is down to those 2 programs for Kelly Bryant. He's not going to Arkansas. He's either going to Missouri or he's going to Auburn.
Missouri would be an interesting fit.
Missouri, I don't know if you look at them, there's this obsession with they lose Drew Lock, and Drew Lock's been really good. God, the last month, Drew Lock was fantastic. But if they get decent quarterback play, and you look at their schedule, they could win 9-10 games.
They're one of the better developers in the league because they do not recruit well at all.
And to me, back to Ole Miss a minute.
Yeah.
When Ole Miss does this thing, and I get why Ole Miss people do it. Someone on the board today asked, why can't we be like Auburn? I think that's the wrong program to compare yourself to. I think Ole Miss should compare itself to South Carolina, to Missouri. When those teams have success, how do they have it? Because you can build something similar, if not better, than what they do at those programs. At Ole Miss.
Well, probably, especially against Missouri, better because and the reason Ole Miss people do this is because they have that capability of recruiting at a top 10 level. Missouri doesn't.
Right.
Missouri's never going to be a top 5 recruiting team in the nation for a year.
Yeah,
just not.
My point with Ole Miss, and this isn't belittling Ole Miss or putting Ole Miss in a corner, but when you compare yourself to Alabama or LSU or Georgia or programs that just simply have more resources than you do, I don't know that you're ever going to be able to match them week by week, year by year, decade by decade. Does that make sense? But I do think you can look at a program like Missouri that's had serious success. And I know they're in the East. I get it. But I think you can look at how they built that success, and you can try to build something similar.
Well, yeah, it's not a niche just because you have to run a certain type of offense or do something different. But you're not going to see Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, South Carolina. It didn't work at Arkansas at all. Go, hey, I'm just going to run the power eye up at right at Alabama every day. That doesn't work. So figure out what does and move on from there. No, there's no doubt about that. But Kelly Bryant, I think I would pick Missouri. As crazy as it is, I know what's there from a coach standpoint. I know the stability. I know they're going to throw it around enough to give me an opportunity to make a name for myself. I get to play in the East, even though the East is getting better. Yeah, I kind of like that fit for him, to be honest. Podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Citto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing and the float down option. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLowe, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast is also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX legacy realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than he does. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. HarryAlexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you're looking for. Then send him an email, ha@harryalexander.com. Podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with a live person. There's no 10 buttons to push, no 5-minute wait. What there is Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. And OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their Kasasa balances up to $50,000. And with Kasasa, ATM fees nationwide are refunded. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. We're also brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. So visit our website, meganmphillips.com, MEAGANmphillips.com, or call Megan at 205-602-7929. And registration for the spring soccer season and the Oxford Park Commission has begun. If your kid played in the fall, the cost is just $35. He or she will rejoin his or her current team. And if you didn't play in the fall, it's okay. You can sign up and play in the spring and join a pre-existing team and make all sorts of new friends, and you can do it for just $55. Leagues are open for kids 4 to 15. For more information, visit oxfordparkcommission.com.
I like civics lessons. I like schools that actually do some real-world examples of some things and not just things that are never going to have any relevance whatsoever in their lives.
Yes.
Props to Clarksdale High School today. They're letting their 22 seniors who are 18 years old board a bus to go vote this morning. So props to them for that.
Good.
Yeah. I'm reading here from someone says 22 of Clarksville High School seniors are boarding the bus heading to the polls to go vote. This is the first year the teachers decided to take eligible and registered voters to the polls. So good for them. Just seeing that on Twitter this morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Heard there was very little lines at the polling locations this morning, so you have time to get out if you're so inclined today.
I believe you were talking to your wife when you said this, but you're right. The
runoffs.
The runoffs clearly typically don't have big turnouts.
Voter turnout.
Yeah.
Even compared to poor voter turnout on the regular one. I mean,
be a good day in Mississippi if you're in the breath mint stock.
The what? The breath mint stock?
Peppermint stuff.
Peppermint.
Probably going to need a little something after you walk out of the poll one way or the other.
Think so?
Yeah.
You going to take the time today?
I haven't decided.
Maybe not. I have a window, so.
You normally are like Mr. Voting. Are you? I mean, so I don't even feel bad right now because you normally like, I voted 6 o'clock this morning. You're even having a hard time going and pulling levers.
I'm gonna go. I'm just frustrated, but
That's what I mean. You're gonna need a peppermint when you're done because you're probably gonna vomit in your mouth a little bit after it's over.
I'm just frustrated. Not even really necessarily frustrated at anything, but just the way we've drug ourselves through the mud over the last 2 months. I mean,
sure,
the whole deal. I mean, as I said, I for some reason I get robocalls from everyone, so I am fresh meat for everyone involved.
I mean, let's keep it real. You're a registered Democrat who votes Republican probably a little more than half the time.
Yeah, no one can really put me in a box very much. I'm pretty.
You're kind of like the people for Pinterest. They have to build a box just for you.
I need a certain box. There's no doubt about that. So
I used to be in a box, and now I'm out of that box and sort of.
Oh, you're moving to the other box.
No, but I can't go that far. Like someone asked me yesterday on the conservative to liberal scale, with 1 being Rachel Maddow and 10 being Rush Limbaugh. Where am I? And I was like, kind of a 6.
See, I think you've fallen down to like a 4.5.
Oh, you think I'm closer to Rachel than I am Rush?
I think you've just slightly moved just slightly on that side.
Maybe.
A lot of the financial principles are keeping you right there close to the moderate level.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a 9 on the other.
But you're about a 1 on the other.
Yeah.
I mean, you're about. I mean, when we started this, I don't know if you could get more live and let live than me. You've kind of replaced me there. You've become about as live and let live as humanly possible on the other side.
Yeah, I'm pretty much, believe it or not, a judgment-free zone.
Yeah. Doesn't have any impact on me. Whatever.
You do you.
Yeah. Life's short. Be happy.
I'll give myself this. I think I understand politics a lot better than a lot of the people who cover politics for a living. I think those people have a tendency, because they live on the coast and they all hang out with one another in almost an echo chamber, to not understand Joe Schmo. You and I talked about this. That guy in Kalamazoo, Michigan, who didn't have a job and now has a job, who couldn't afford Christmas presents and now he can, who couldn't get little shoes for little Becky and now he can. That guy, he's on board. He does not care about Facebook influencing elections. He does not really care about our relationships with Russia. Not overly concerned about what's happening with the Saudis. He's thinking about him, his family. That's where people underestimate, I think, some of politics. I don't know, who's the famous person that says all politics are local? All politics are local.
Oh, 100%.
Politics are local. There's a tendency in the media, especially the national media, to get obsessed with the big national media stories. I just don't think those stories resonate with middle America the way that mainstream media thinks that they do. And I'm not criticizing.
Tip O'Neill.
He's right. All politics are local. Damn right. Truer words.
Whatever it is, it's in here.
Yeah, it's.
How does it affect me?
How does it affect me? How does it affect my kids? How does it affect my job?
Yeah. My way of life, anything.
My wallet.
Yeah.
My mortgage. My car payment. How does it affect me? That's what they want to know. How does it affect me?
Yeah. At the end of the day, a lot of people aren't worried about what it does for health care for the other guy. What's it do about my health care?
Yeah.
What's my premium?
Yeah.
How quick can I get into the doctor? What's my deal?
And it's the part of political coverage that I think gets lost. Honestly, I do.
Well, because we are 1 in 10 on coverage. I mean, good grief.
Yeah, the coverage is bad.
I can't find a station. I just sit here and flip. I get annoyed by all of them. I just flip. Well,
I have found that now I don't really watch it at night. I used to watch those shows at night, and I'd flip back and forth, and I'd end up telling Hannity to go.
Well, see, I kind of hate them all. Like, Hogan thinks he's, like, hazing me because he'll call me and he'll be like, hey, what's on MSNBC? And I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Like it's like.
It's like last night, Laura and the kids had on The Voice, and I came in here and worked and stuff. I didn't turn anything on, and they had The Voice on, and they're all happy. They're cheering for the girl from Memphis that's like in the Final 10 or whatever.
Is there a girl from Memphis in the Final 10?
She's from Collierville. She's really good. They called me in to listen to her.
Does Collierville claim Memphis? You know, like Madison doesn't really claim Jackson. Like, does Collierville claim
She's
Memphis?
claiming Memphis.
Is she?
Probably because there's more votes in Memphis.
I would claim Memphis.
Yeah.
I'd claim everyone.
She's like 16 years
really?
old. She's really good.
Okay. Kind of country, kind of pop?
No, kind of pop.
Okay.
But I think she's good enough where
I've only watched seconds of the show this season.
She could do country. Yeah, it's not my favorite show either, but they love it. They love the
cool.
the early part where the Kelly Clarkson and the guy from Adam Levine.
Yeah.
And who's the country singer that's in it?
Blake Shelton,
where they turn their thing around, chair around.
Yeah.
That is pretty good TV.
It's pretty good TV.
And the kids.
In that realm, that's about as good
Carson
as you can do.
Digs that. Like,
does he really?
Oh, yeah. When they hit the button, he loves it. And so the girls don't really come down and watch TV anymore. We don't exist. But they will come down and watch that. Some.
No, just pointing this out, seeing it on Twitter now as we close in a second. Sean Taylor killed 11 years ago today. Redskins defensive back.
Is that right?
11 years. Yeah. 2007. So just,
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That guy was so good.
I had a real fear last night. I put this on Twitter. Driving down the road, my kid picks up a golf club in the back seat and begins trying to swing it from her car seat. Because you're driving, you can't really do much of anything. And I said, hey, put that down. And she said, no, mine golf. And I went, ugh, this is not good. It was like, and I'm like reaching with one hand and trying not to kill us. And it's a little bit of a problem. I was quite happy when she got, I was trying to see how fast I could get to the little Kindle app in my car to get Baby Shark on the radio to try to make her do anything else. That was my goal for this, was to get to Baby Shark as fast as possible.
You could have said Sharks hate golf.
I could, yes.
And that would have been the end of the club.
It's a catchy song. 2 billion views on YouTube.
Yeah, Mississippi State Band played it.
I give them a little credit. That was actually pretty funny.
That was funny.
I mean, there's a lot of hostility, but that was a real pure rivalry troll. That we're fine. You know, that's the one where if you're Ole Miss, you go, dang it, all right,
we tipped our caps on that one. Yeah. The 2018-19 men's hoop season has arrived. Don't miss out on the new Pavilion Mini Pack for just $65. Tickets include games to Tennessee, Auburn, and select non-conference games, as packages are fully customizable based on your schedule. For more info, visit OleMissSports.com and click the tickets link. The Ole Miss women's hoops team is back in action Thursday. They host TCU at 8 p.m. Tickets can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. The Ole Miss men's team, meanwhile, is back in town tomorrow night, Wednesday, as they take on San Diego at 6:30 p.m. from the Pavilion. Tickets can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. And it's a powder blue out on Saturday, December the 1st at the Pavilion for the Ole Miss men's basketball team. They play the mighty Warhawks of ULM. The Rebels debut their new powder blue uniforms. Tip-off is set for 1 p.m. Tickets can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com.
Plenty more at RebelGrove.com. Again, we got some football coverage from the stat stuff yesterday. We have some updated thoughts in the Nuggets for the defensive coordinator position. I talked to Ross Bjork about Matt Luke's contract yesterday, and much more. So you can check RebelGrove.com for that. Take advantage of our cyber deal still going on. Again, that's 99 cyber for the code to get the gear in the fan shop. And we will be back tomorrow with another edition of the podcast. Talk to you then.